Athens Shade Tree Commission meeting of March 11th, 2010. We're going to start the meeting with a right-of-way issue, a proposal to plant some fruit trees and shrubs that I believe Laurie Fletcher Croman is going to present to us. So if you'd like to just introduce yourself and then give us some background on the proposal you've got.
Sure, thank you. Thanks for having me here tonight. My name is Laurie Groman, and I'm a grad student at Ohio University. And I'm working on a project with Community Food Initiatives and Dr. Holben, who has secured funds for this project through a Canada Fulbright. And the project is to plant fruit trees on city property to increase our food security, which goes into the mission of CFI. The sites include Southside Park, Highland Park, Alexander Street, which behind Village Bakery, which there's some city property there, Arts West, and then the West Side Community Gardens over on West State Street. And I have the maps and lists here of what sort of trees we'd plant at each site. And as I mentioned to David, I can email this information to him, and then he can spread it around. But it's around 20 trees total that we're looking to plant, and basically try to do it this spring. So I welcome your questions and hope I can answer them.
I think the immediate question we've got whenever people want to plant in the right-of-way is who's going to maintain them? And how long are they willing to maintain them for?
That's a good question.
So what is the lifespan of the project, basically?
Okay. Well, that's sort of how I began with this project, is going to Community Food Initiatives, and I asked Rhonda Clark, what do you need done? I need a project for my master's, and I'd love to help you guys out with anything you have. So she wants to implement an Adopt a Tree program where citizens of Athens can adopt certain trees, and they would maintain them, basically prune them, mulch them, but then those trees would be available for harvest for anyone in the city, in the county, whatever. So her plan is for CFI to have this Adopt a Tree program.
Okay. And presumably in the plans you've detailed the species and cultivars of the trees, because yes. I know that some of my colleagues on the Tree Commission are going to want to dig into those and make sure they're suitable for this area.
Sure, and I would love that input back. So. And
the other issue I know that people will be concerned about is that there is a tradition in the fruit industry of certainly using chemicals and so on to control pests and diseases. Are these cultivars being chosen to minimise the use of
they are,
and so
yes. In fact, especially apple, I've chosen some that are scab resistant so that you don't have to spray them. But yeah, for the most part, we definitely want to keep things as organic as possible.
Okay. So in terms of long-term maintenance, after you've presumably graduated, CFI are going to take over the organisation of all this, are they?
That is correct.
Okay, good. Do other commissioners have any questions at this time? Yeah.
What about soil side preparation? Is there going to be a soil amendment to make sure? Did you test soil, these different places?
I have not tested the soil. I've talked to Ann Bonner a little bit about some of the sites, and also Kevin Martin about Arts West, since he's on that ad hoc committee over there. As far as amendments go, Ron offered to use the city's auger to dig the holes, so we also have soil that we can use, I believe, that Andy Stone got from the roundabout digging up that we could use.
Okay, good soil. Yeah. Other questions from the commissioners?
I'm sure the soil is going for that.
What's that?
I'm glad to hear that roundabout, the Richland Avenue traffic element is going for that.
How long was that soil in there, in that roundabout?
About 25 years, and it was tested. Rhonda Clark had it tested for twice for two different things, heavy metals and other issues. So it's good.
That's fine. All right.
So, yeah, if you can get the information to me, then we'll start tree permits. I think on the way we'll do this is a tree permit for each of the major sites in there, just so we can keep track of stuff. And then once the commissioners have decided there are no further questions, then we'll proceed, presumably. But,
I'd like some information on the adopt a tree, because I'd probably adopt the Highland Park trees.
Great.
Yeah, okay.
I think that was the area where you had the most going.
No, not 8. 4, maybe
trees
6.
And a couple bushes.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Great.
Yeah.
Greg, did you want to?
Greg Rogers, I just wanted to add, I had a contact with someone from CFI, and they're putting together, short communication, putting together packets for that purpose. How to plant, how to care, particular to the species. So we can we can actually pass that out to members of the Tree Commission or individuals of the Tree Commission they like.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Thank you. Okay, very good. Thanks.
You're welcome.
We don't have any other right-of-way issues or any landscape ordinance issues. The next item is Ron's report. Ron's report's probably going to be the main feature of the meeting tonight.
I handed everyone, I think, yeah, here you go. Basically, the focus that I've been tracking has been the Tree City USA Awards. That will be August 28th, 2010 at the Community Center from 8:30 to 1 p.m. approximately. Ann and I have been meeting and have started coming up with the plan. We have identified our caterer, the approximate cost. Well, yeah, so it'll be $20 per person. And some of the events, the agenda, so to speak, and it's on this sheet. Our goal is to have 50 people at least in paid attendance, with the 11 other communities that are in this district, mayors, shade tree commissions, council folks. Also, the fact that we're having an ISA certified course, I think that'll help us attract some people to our event. Regarding the city, I would like to invite all of yourselves, of course, and the city council folks, some people from OU with sustainability and facilities planning, our uptown businesses, pretty much a number of our businesses, I would think, local vendors such as landscapers, nurseries, energy providers, and equipment providers, and I would like to ask for your assistance in helping us gather their participation in the event regarding not only being there, but also maybe setting up displays or booths, just to have someone talk about their product or whatever, just for something else to do during the day, during the event. So we can probably chat via email offline regarding that and see who's interested in that. But what Ann and I were thinking was the Five Springs Farm, Total Tree Care, Lowe's, places like that do have an interest in promoting the green.
Should I cut to the chase? We really want to get the registrations up so that we can cover all the complimentary registrations.
Ann's being more blunt.
But it is an excellent opportunity to network with all those folks.
Sure. But if you look at the agenda in item F, 1F, I have a part about opening remarks with the mayor and Allahu Ghazni and myself. David, if you would like to say something, you're more than welcome to. And Drew Todd. We can have a little session about where the city's at regarding their tree program, where we'd like to go. And then our featured speakers are Joe Boggs and Jim Chatfield, and they're very entertaining. If anyone has not heard them speak, they're fun.
Can I I got word tonight that the chief of the Division of Forestry of all the other Tree City USA programs haven't any pictures. So he'd like to be on that list of distinguished speakers and the opening remarks.
Excellent.
Go for it.
That bumps me to the end, I think. 10:45 to 11:45 will be our award ceremony, and then we'll have a lunch hour. And then we would adjourn to Bicentennial Park for a restoration kickoff event, so to speak, where we'll have a hole ready, a tree ready, and we'll celebrate our Arbor Day and have the media there, and the mayor can hopefully read his proclamation at that time. So that's where we're at with that program, with that plan. So does anybody have any comments or questions about the awards?
I was just struck with the fact you've got the two speakers, and they're speaking separately, aren't they?
No.
Oh, they're speaking together?
Yeah, they'll go off of each
Okay.
other. Yeah.
That's fine then. I understand why now there's an hour for them.
And they're great together.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Very entertaining.
Ron, what did you want us to help you with? Invite, you mean like to vendors?
Yeah, we want to get vendors, maybe 2 or 3 apiece, to invite local vendors to have displays or booths at the event.
One of the ideas is, and maybe this would be helpful, if we kind of wrote down a list of who we think might be potential vendor owner of this one, or I know this one, and maybe just divvy them up. That way we have some control and there's some follow-up, that...
No, like, well, I was thinking of Joshua Tree Landscaping,
Yeah.
but he's done work for me, and I was
Yeah, that'd be
very
great.
pleased. I would be happy to contact him.
Excellent.
Okay.
Yeah,
And if you have any ideas like that, maybe you can just email me
Okay.
those folks. And
we'll
get
see if
them.
we can assemble a list
Now,
after the meeting.
And I think it's important because money is going to be tight. The lunch is kind of costly, and we've got to pay Jim and Joe for their travel time and expenses. So we ask that with a paid registration, they get table space.
Right.
Network
So
with,
So they understand that they can come and display, but they also need to pay.
Yeah, $20 registration, which is it's pretty inexpensive to be hobnobbing with, all those tree commissions and also get a nice lunch from.
Right, and some of the people may be interested in the information, in the presentations.
True.
Everyone has been talking about how entertaining these two fellows are.
Oh, they are.
Always have great information.
Oh, okay.
Along with being very entertaining.
Maybe we could get some publicity out to the gardening community as well as, the tree commission folks. That might be a way, I think, because people probably will want to come and see them.
I'll see that Master Gardeners get this information.
Okay.
And I have a gardening connection I can promote.
Okay.
Actually, there'll be something in the Messenger or newspaper that would
Yeah, we've
promote
got to
it a
work
little
on
bit.
that. And I think I like that. I think Emily's point's well taken, that I need to really highlight Jim and Joe and their participation in it. So I'll try to do that. And I'll try to get you guys, the agenda. I got the save the date already out. Did you all get that? So if you could forward that to your gardening people for the meantime, we'll try to get more info.
But are you going to have a public service announcement? I mean, I don't know about other people. I get a lot of my information on WUB, so...
I send it all. I send it out to everyone.
Okay, great. Great.
Yeah, another thing from her. So, or maybe what we could do is actually have it sent from the city. So
That would be great.
I'll do it. They'll be like, Ron Lucas. Wow. Put it at the top.
And he writes like Ann Bonner.
So wordy.
Well, I think, as you look down Ron's list here, we've got an opportunity in that week to sort of highlight this as one of the key events in a week of events.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. It's all seeming to fall together in item number 2, which is the Arbor Day celebration and the beautification week. We can do a lot with this. We have a lot of prospects with the spring cleanup, the Tree City Awards, Arbor Day, Beautification Day on May 1st. One thing I would like to add to Beautification Day is a property owner on Highland that has a blue spruce that they want to donate to the city. I'd like to get that planted We might have to do that before this, but we'll see. I'd like to have...
When you say spring cleanup, is that going to involve picking up things that are awkward for people to get rid of? Or is there going to be one?
Yes.
Okay.
It's that week where you can put out as much household disposals as you can curbside, and it'll get picked up for no extra charge. And you can also bring larger items to the street department, to the service garage. And there's dumpsters that can take that from you. So...
What's the tree we're going to plant at the Arbor Day celebration? Have you decided?
That was going to... I'd like to talk about that, yes. It hasn't been decided. Basically, well, we talked about Lori's project. So the tree removals planning part, item number 4. Bicentennial Park, I don't know if anyone's seen it in the last week. It's not, as you remember, it's gone, pretty much. All the dead trees are removed, and we are wanting to put a restoration effort into that park, either through donation trees or adopt a tree like we were talking about with your project. We have potential. I'd like to figure out what red and white trees we would like to plant. We got the blue. We can probably put a couple more blue in there, but to retain the integrity of that park as it was originally planted, I would seek your advice on what you would think would be the best trees.
So you're looking for red and white flowering, or red and white red leaves?
Probably white flowering, red leaves. It doesn't matter. I've looked for blue flowering trees. Haven't had much luck there. A Curie tree was the closest, and that was purple. So.
Well, the one
red maples.
One white flowering tree I like. I think it's Alicia, is it? Is that there's a one near Chubb Hall. A tree that flowers. I think
Silver
in the.
Bell.
Sorry.
Silver Bell.
Silver Bell, yes, yeah.
Oh,
what's the official name of that one?
Halacia?
That's it, yeah. I mispronounced it. And then, of course, we got the great big magnolias that you can have. The cucumber magnolia is that one with a big white flower that you can plant in a park?
Doesn't it have a yellowish flower?
White, yellow.
Purple,
it's
blue.
creamy. It is kind of got a yellow.
It doesn't have enough flowers at any one time to make a very big impression, though, does it?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's more of a shade tree, but boy, it's an underused tree.
Yeah. And you wouldn't plant it on a street.
Well, could we plant, as long as we have a pattern, could we plant multiple species of red and white? As long as we maintain a pattern in the star shape.
Because if I remember, the star shape is basically 6 radiating lines, isn't it, from the center? Is that the way the star was formed?
Oh, it really was a star.
It was a 5-point star.
5-point star, okay.
How many trees are we looking at?
30.
Okay.
Greg?
I urge that the planners, Greg Brothers, or the planners take a look at what the scope of a mature tree is on the site, for one thing, and also the form of that particular species.
Yeah. The other thing
it's a different thing about saying, well, I've got a red, white, and blue tree here, but 30 years down the line, besides compacted soils in that area, which there are from the construction of the rec center, you're going to have drip lines competing with each other. You're going to have forms that crowd out the light and cause actually some other trees to decline early, and there's these different things that you have to consider.
Ron, I've forgotten. Do we know why the other trees died, why they declined?
It was the crabapple, what was it called? Scorch?
Scab.
Do you want to sit at the table, Anne?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Well, they were the service life of a flowering crabapple was
they were crab apples. I didn't know the species.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they were old age trees.
Okay.
Yeah, they were planted in 68, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
So why don't we just replant the same species? I mean, if they were planted in 68, that's a pretty good run, isn't it?
And that's fine. You know, we can do whatever is.
Well, I think that might be the first thing to do, Ron, is just to draw a plan out of what was there originally. Let us have a look at it, and then we'll see if we now think there are some better substitutions for that site.
But I would like to point out that crabapple trees are not shade trees. This might be an opportunity to get more shade trees. So.
Yeah, and I was thinking the same thing with that, because
Yeah.
I feel that the park was not utilized as much as it could have been.
Yeah, but I think that I can't visualize things without seeing a plan of it. So I think it will be helpful to get a plan of what was there, and then we can look and see if there's opportunities to replace things.
Okay.
And so on.
Catalpa's white.
Sorry?
Catalpa.
Catalpa's another good one. Yeah, that we don't often
Yeah,
plan.
Sweet gum.
Yeah.
All those things that can't be.
And that's an okay place for the sweet gum seed pods, yeah.
Yeah.
And a good place for it because it will take compacted soil, wet soil, dry soil.
There are a couple sweet gums there, I believe.
Yeah, I think those were the red.
Yeah.
But catalpa is a very,
Very white.
it is, it's such a cool tree. I mean, it doesn't, I think we've got the form issues, but what a novel, I mean, people don't plant catalpas, and they really are one of the toughest trees in the urban environment. They're really one of my personal
Yeah,
favorites.
I like them also.
That's a premier roadside tree in western Ohio, historically.
Oh.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I know in Colorado they plant them because it's the only thing that'll grow.
There's one in my front yard.
The Sophora japonica is another one, white flowered, but it's late in the season. It wouldn't be white with some of the other things.
That would be
And
excellent.
it has a problem with the seed pods, which can cause staining problems on sidewalks or cars that are parked under them, and there would be no problem in the park for that one.
You know, the other thing, that's a great suggestion, and getting Sephora japonica is hard because they're so desirable that people, kind of grab them up. But if you bought them all at the same time, got them bare root, they'd be uniform. You probably have a better chance of getting them. It's just something to think of. Maybe doing them bare root, you could get a little bit smaller tree, but I don't know. That's such a great tree, and
it's also a shade tree.
Yeah, gets height.
And bare root, you can train it to form.
And they're cheaper.
Yeah.
Maybe you could buy them all at the same time and then hope maybe people would adopt them and, reimburse you for the costs, I guess.
Okay, I think we've got a good start there. Get a plan, and then we'll put a list together.
So we got a lot of white. Red, we're kind of skipping. We'll get it figured out.
Yeah.
I had one more question. You were talking about wanting to have 50 people here. How many usually come to these, Anne?
I've had 75, and then I've had as small as 30. I think last year's in Gallipolis, you were there, Albie, right? And Emily? I think there were 45, maybe? Or 50?
I don't remember.
It's just that, I think with the economy, the lunch is a little bit more than I think what we've had to pay in the past. And then also, this is the first time we're going with speakers, that we have to pay. So, just something to think about. I think it's doable, and I didn't think about the attraction that Jim and Joe have with the gardening community. So I think that would be another good way to kind of get registrations up.
And what's for lunch? No, just kidding.
Who's catering? Let's get down to the important stuff.
Oak room.
The oak room, get it? I mean, it's thematic.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Clever. Very good.
Thought of that on the way over.
Sorry. Acorn flower.
The only other item I had was the Gateway Grant's still a work in progress. It's an email here and there with Bill McElfresh. He's stuck with the engineers about placement of the trees on the banks, so it's not done yet. So.
Okay. I know there's a question for us this evening coming up about the roundabout, the landscape plan for that. Can you give us any information as to at what stage the Tree Commission might be involved in?
I can find out for you.
Yeah, the article in the Messenger clearly stated it was the last phase. I don't know when they planned that. I think, yeah.
Well, it's usually done that way so that we know what engineering work has been done ahead of time.
Phase 4 begins September, the first week of OU classes, so September 7th or something like that. So that's the last phase.
Yeah. Greg?
Oh, I just got a copy of that itemized landscape species for that project from the Director of Public Works' secretary. So I'll forward that to you.
Okay, thank you.
Simple enough.
That's great.
Yeah, and if anybody wants to look at a very good public service announcement about that, there's one on this you can access on the city website. It's about a 9-minute video in which they run through and they show various views of the whole thing in operation, and then there's a view towards the end with trees around the roundabout. It's well worth going to the city website for that. So that's the end of your report then, Ron?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I think we had a question about the tree.
Okay.
My family and I had offered to donate a tree for this purpose in memory of my father-in-law who passed away this summer. So I don't know if the city has purchased a tree or if that could be a tree that could be used, and this tree could be donated to Bicentennial Park or whatever. I'm open to that, but I've offered to purchase and pay for the planting of a tree.
So on the Arbor Day are we planning to plant a particular tree at all to celebrate Arbor Day?
I wanted to plant the first tree for the replacement of the trees that we removed from Bicentennial Park. So whatever species we want that tree to be.
Okay.
I had some other things in mind, but they're kind of not finalized yet.
Yeah.
But I'm certainly open to maybe planting more than one. So.
Yeah, I mean, there's no limit to how many trees we can plant on Arbor Day.
The more the merrier, I'm sure.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions on Ron's report? Okay. The next item is the Emerald Ash Borer update. We're at the point where we've only got the south side to survey. I've got a name of a contact there who I'm going to approach to ask if she's willing to be trained to survey for ash trees, and if she's got other people who can do this as well. Paul Logue felt that the people he had, because they were students and weren't familiar with that area, he didn't really want them walking around the streets on the south side, because there are no sidewalks in many of those streets. But we do know there are a number of people who walk around in that area, and so we're going to try and recruit 2 or 3 of them to finish the survey. And so we'll be coming to you and Ron for training again for that purpose. And at that point we should have the whole city surveyed, except I think for some of the parks. I'm not sure how much of the parks we've actually done. And I was walking through the community centre and just adding up the number of ash trees we've got there. Thinking it's about time we had a plan for what we're going to do around that building. Because that has a significant percentage of ash trees around it.
I did attend, if I may, I attended the State Tree Care Conference, and I sat through a couple of the Emerald Ash Borer update classes, and there's some good news regarding treatment. I don't know how cost effective it is, but if we would need to buy time, treatment in younger trees has been effective. So that's a good thing if we needed to buy time with our final number of removals. If we can do, say, 10, 20, 30, 40 a year, if we need to buy some time, treatment's been showing to be effective.
Do you recall how small the trees were or how big?
It proved most effective in less than 15-inch caliper.
Oh, okay. Because that might be something you could do at the community centre if you chose to.
So,
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, there's a lot of ash trees, too, that were before the landscape ordinance and are in the commercial development to the east, Lowe's.
Okay. Other business. I've got one item sitting out there with Greg. He wanted to bring to our attention a concern he had with the Sandlot baseball park. Do you want to just raise it officially?
Yeah, I'll raise it officially. I'm Greg Broadhurst. I'm also an ISA certified arborist. I live on the west side of Athens, and so hence I oftentimes go down to West State Street Park to see what the progress is in the gorilla plantings of red maples cultivars down there. And since the last time I was there about a month ago, I mean, I don't know how they got in there that quickly, but there's an intensive densification, as I see it, of red maples under the drip lines with their trees close into fences, and you know, that wasn't supposed to be the deal in their contract. But anyway, I don't know, have they ever come to this body? No. So, one of the things about their contract is supposed to play by the rules. So I thought maybe the tree commission could send them a letter and say, you know, we're going to have to remove some of these trees because they're inappropriate. There was no permission given. Actually, we might be able to take some of those trees out and plant them where they would be a benefit, by the way. And they're probably, I'd say $50, $60 trees. They're about, I mean, they're probably a 1-inch caliper, probably about almost 6 feet tall. A lot of them. And the ones that worked, there were some that are planted there by a company, I believe, this is from one of the people in the Sandlot League, a landscape company in Albany. So maybe we need to send them a letter and say, don't plant stuff in any park, anywhere, without coming to the tree commission, without permission of either the recreation director and the tree commission. So I just want to make that point officially.
Do you have an estimate of how many trees?
I need to go count them, but there's plenty.
Well, now, remember, they were asked or maybe required to replace trees because, you know, years ago they had literally bulldozed several large ones. And
I remember also this body specifically stating, and when we were dealing with Coates Run, they didn't listen either, and also Stimson Avenue, that we didn't want to plant monocultures of red maple. That's exactly what they've done. They're from Lowe's and from that Albany nursery. So, you know, in fact, the trees, it's a sidebar of that. What happens, they get planted in areas which are inappropriate, and they become maintenance problems down the line, or else they just decline because they're not in the right site location and improperly watered, soil, the whole thing. So I just wanted to bring that to the attention of the Tree Commission. I don't think we're getting as much cooperation as we'd like by some of these entities that really, you know, with all due respect, should play by the procedural rules. That's all. That's what I had to say.
I'll get with Ron and we'll have a look.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks very much. But Ann was right. Yeah, there was when that whole development of recreational development started down on the west side of Athens. A lot of trees were removed without permission and the whole thing, and they were attempting to do that. But I don't know because I hadn't talked to Ann about that, whether they consulted anybody other with any expertise at all. They kind of just, a nursery guy, and that's fine and dandy, but then you've got trees looking like this because the prevailing winds are going this way, and things and questions you need to ask before you plant. So, okay, thanks.
Okay, thank you for your observations. Any other business?
I've got one.
Yes?
I've got one thing. It's for Ron. I remember about 6 months ago that we had a request on 32 Shannon of cutting down a silver maple that was kind of leaned over, and then the Shade Tree Commission, we declined that request, but I noticed pretty recently that tree has been cut down. Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, I have I can check on my records down, but the tree was failing, and it was dropping limbs. It dropped a limb onto the side of the house, I believe.
Oh,
but
okay.
I can double check that downstairs.
I thought before that it was checked and it was okay when we discussed that. This was probably 6 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what's the address again?
32 Shannon. I just know because I walked through that area and they cut down another on someone else's, it wasn't right away, but there was 2 silver maples there, and that was actually a nice shady area. Now that they're both gone, it's not a shady area anymore. And I was just curious about that.
Yeah, and I have been doing some removals on on the early part of this year. I'd say I've done about 8 or so far.
You had one in May, too, I recognize. There was
And there's
another
a-
silver maple there.
And I get stressed out right now because I felt really good in December because we planted 30-some trees and we cut down 2. And now I'm getting back to that. Cut down 8 and haven't planted any. So I'm looking forward to planting. Yeah, I can check the reason downstairs.
Yeah, I hope maybe the next planting we do to get another tree in that one area, because there's
Okay.
kind of a very sunny spot now.
We'll add that to my list. 32 South Shannon.
Yeah.
Was
Was
that
this-
one that AEP had repeatedly pruned? Was that,
I think it was, Albie.
yeah, this is ringing in.
Yeah. I was wondering actually if they had removed it rather than.
No, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure it was me.
Is the stump still there, or what's the
The
current
stump,
status?
there is a stump there, yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know if, does the city remove the stumps?
Not always. If we identify it as a planting site, we will.
Okay.
Other questions? Any other business? If there is no more business, we've got the minutes of our last meeting to consider. I can see I may have the wrong date somewhere on here. It's either December 12th or December 10th. Whatever the last meeting was, I will correct that one if it needs to be corrected. Glance over, does anyone need a copy? Glance over the minutes and see if there are any changes.
There's a misspelling of my first name.
Ah, yes. Lee. So any other changes? Can we have a motion to approve?
I motion that we approve these minutes.
Second.
Second.
Any objections to approving the minutes? Hearing none, we have minutes approved.
December 10th would be a Thursday.
Okay. I will change that, as I said.
Might have been good.
Yeah, it'd be the 10th. Yeah. It was right. It was me on
Yeah,
the
the minutes were right.
Yeah, the minutes were right. The agenda was wrong. Yeah, okay, there you go. Next meeting should be April the 8th. I don't see a reason why we wouldn't have one, since we'll be well into the planning for our Arbor Day celebrations and Tree City USA celebrations on the 28th. By the way, Ron, we didn't say where we're going to have them. Where are we going to have
The community center.
I thought so. Okay.
I would also like to have an update on a continuation of our 2009 plannings that we couldn't get to for.
Yeah.
We should be getting close to being able to finishing those plannings.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. We will adjourn. Thank you.